Hey, what's up YouTube? My name is Zaria and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking to y'all about personally why I struggle with setting boundaries, creating boundaries, or even like knowing what boundaries are. Basically, this video idea came to me because I was driving today and I was going to the store to get my niece something for her birthday. As I was going to the store, it's actually a store I used to work at back in 2020. As I was going to the store, something popped up in my head. And basically what popped up in my head was when I was working at this store, we had somebody new come in and start working. And so, he was a cool person. He only worked there like 3 weeks, maybe a month. Not sure about the time, but I know it was like 3 weeks to a month. And all of a sudden he just stopped showing up for work. And so when we was working together, we briefly like had like minor small conversations or whatever. And I remember him saying like where he lived, like the area he lived in. He didn't say like his address, but he did say like the area that he lived in. I remember like I said, he stopped coming to work, and like me and some coworkers kind of like was just talking about like, oh, he hasn't been coming. The manager was just like, he hasn't been coming. At the time we were short staffed. Basically, one day I had got off work and I had went over to where this person stayed at. Mind you, I'm not friends with this person. Me and this person do not talk outside of work. I don't know this person. He, like I said, he was only working there like 3 weeks. And so I remember, because the area that he stayed in, it was actually close by to where I stayed. I went over to that neighborhood wherever he stayed and I looked for his car and I found it, and I went and I knocked on the door. And he came to the door and I was just like, hey, I see that you haven't been coming into work lately, and I just wanted to see, how you was doing and make sure everything was okay. And he, like, when he came to the door, he looked like what the, like, bro, why is this girl at my door? Like, that's how he looked. But he was like calm about it, and I thank God about it now, because he could have spazzed out on me for real, because that was a major violation of a boundary. You feel me? Even though that's not a boundary that was set to me, like, oh, you can't pop up on me. You don't go and you don't pop up on nobody, especially if you don't know this person. Like, you don't do that. So like I said, he was calm about it, and he was just like, yeah, I'm okay, da, da. And he just said that, and then I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go. And then I left. And when I left, like, I felt so bad, because I'm like, yo, I know this dude think I'm crazy, yo. I know this dude think I am insane. Like, I popped up at this dude's house and I don't know him from a can of paint. Like, I don't know I know he looking at me like, how this girl find out where I stayed at? That is the premise of why I chose to make this video, because of the fact that when I started thinking about that, I realized I have a hard time setting boundaries with people. Not setting boundaries, sorry. I have a hard time with boundaries in general when it comes to other people, because my boundaries was always violated. And what I mean by that is, like, growing up as a child, I can remember from as early as probably like 5 years old, 6 years old, um, my boundaries was violated. People close to me violated boundaries, personal boundaries of mine. And so when I grew up, I always had a distorted view about boundaries. I felt like since I was young, and I didn't know, since people easily violated my boundaries, then basically that led me to violating other people's boundaries. So basically what I'm saying is, growing up and having your boundaries violated and thinking that is normal, right? Because no one is telling you that it is wrong. No one is saying anything, and I was the type of person where, like, as a child, like, I mean, if you did something to me, like, I was a very, very shy child, extremely shy. So, like, if somebody did something to me, I wouldn't speak up for myself. I would never really talk back to people because I was also very scared of confrontation. I was shy and I was scary, let's say that. But I was always just afraid of like confrontation and things of that nature. So I let people just do whatever they wanted to do to me because I felt like, what am I to say that who, like, not what am I, but who am I to say that they can't? Who am I? I mean, they're doing this for a reason. I don't know why, but who am I to say that they can't do it? You know what I'm saying? Because I obviously when I'm a child, I don't have a awareness of self. So as I grew up, I remember just like having friends and things of that nature. And I actually remember like my best friend, that's still my best friend to this day. I remember I was over at her house, and I don't know why this girl was hitting me, but this girl was just hitting me. I got really like irritated, and I was just like, and I wanted to be like, yo, stop hitting me, yo, like, cause well, I really wanted to hit her back, but I don't think I hit her back. I think I might have like tapped her or something, but I didn't hit her back the way that she was hitting me. And I remember like wanting to say like, yo, stop hitting me, yo, like yo, like stop hitting on me or whatever. And I never said it. And to this day, I'm like, I should have said something. And it's because like at that time, like I was so scared of telling people they can't do something to me, because in the past, like I just let it happen. You felt like I just let things happen to me. So as I grew up, like if I said something, I was always scared of losing somebody. Like if I were to speak up for myself, I felt like, you know, it's gonna be a problem, it's gonna be a confrontation. And like I just told y'all, I'm scared of confrontation. Not now, but I was scared of confrontation, so I would allow that to happen. I remember I was talking to this dude a couple years ago, and I remember we talked, and he had told me that he had gotten in a car accident. And so I thought that it was okay for me to just, because I had already been over his house, but when I was over at his house, it's because he came and picked me up, or he told me to come over there, you know, invited me over there. And I remember going over there to his house, like popping up on him, and going inside and like being like, hey, you know, are you okay? You know, I'm just wanting to come and check on you. And he literally got so mad at me. Like he got so mad, and it hurt my feelings. But when I took a step back, and this was like months later, and when I just like started like actually reflecting on like that situation. Bless you. When I started like reflecting on that situation, I realized it was he wasn't upset because I was checking on him. He was upset because that was a boundary um that was, I guess it was obvious, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you know, you're not supposed to pop up at my crib. Later on I found out the real reason why, and this was because I wasn't the only person he was talking to. So it could have been it could have been like another female over there or whatever, that he was dealing with or whatever, and I guess that would have blew up his spot. But it's still honestly, it still shouldn't have happened. You know, I still should have asked him, hey, can I come over and see how you doing and check on you? You know, that's the proper way to do things. You just don't go popping up at somebody's home. And people's homes are their sacred spaces, and you can't just go and do things because you feel that urge to do things. I also want to mention to y'all that I used to be very impulsive. I still deal with some impulsivity now in my life, but back in the day, I was very impulsive. I did things just like this, you know what I'm saying? Whatever I felt at the moment, then I would jump up and do. But so once I realized that, like, wow, that was a boundary, you know, that's when I started to think about it more. But I still wasn't aware of like, what are boundaries? What do they do? You know what I'm saying? And I remember like when kind of like the world started to get into like this whole like self-love type of rhetoric. I remember a lot of people would mention like boundaries. And I'm like, yo, what is a boundary? Like like why do we have to set boundaries? And I remember questioning myself and asking like, who am I to set a boundary? Who am I to tell somebody that they can't do something to me? And if you have to say that to yourself, then you know, like, bro, something is wrong. Like somewhere in your life something went wrong, because boundaries are put in place in order to protect ourselves, to protect our spirit, to protect our peace, you know. And anybody who violates boundaries that you set, they're not meant to be in your life, because people who respect you and people who value you are always going to adhere to the boundaries that you set. But like I said, I didn't realize that until later on in life. I'm 24 now. For some people, that's very early in life to learn that. But just for God to reveal that that was that connection of the reason why I did certain things that I did, growing up, is because my boundaries were violated as a child. And then I began, because when your boundaries are violated in certain ways, it's not only just that, but it's the fact of like your self-esteem. You start to grow up with low self-esteem. Your self-worth is not there. So I think not having that high value of myself, and not really, and having a low self-esteem, and not really knowing my self-worth, that's why I question, like, who am I to create a boundary with people? Because I've never done that. And I think anytime that I would not go along with what someone else wanted to do with me, it was always a problem. So I felt like, in order to avoid it being a problem, then I'll just let you do whatever, which is not healthy at all. But we live and we learn, and everything happens for a reason. Now that I'm 24, I can say that I definitely feel like boundaries are important. I still struggle with setting boundaries, only because, like, I feel like, I just have to learn myself a little bit more, to know exactly like what boundaries to set with people. I just really wanted to make this video because, like, I know I'm probably not the only person that struggles with this. In going through a lot of like just realization, to my revelation, self-realization, and just like the healing process, I can say that even going through the healing process, you have to set boundaries with people, because you still need that time to yourself. If you want to say no, you have every right. And I also kind of want to touch on just like people pleasing. I think by my boundaries also being violated from a child, excuse me, from a child, and kind of going along with everybody else wanted, it turned me into this people pleaser. Along with the fact that, like, growing up and having friends, like, I didn't want to lose people. So I always went along with what people wanted, and I always would try to please everyone else, instead of myself. And that definitely stems from childhood for me, because I always would try to, I would do these things, I would let these things happen because I was trying to please um what someone else wanted, instead of what I felt I should do, or not do in that moment. And it said that it was the foundation of me, to which started to become people pleasing. And people pleasing is something that I'm literally just really starting to get over. And understanding that I have the power to say no. I have the power to open my mouth. Oh my God, I cannot tell y'all how many times I've been in situations where I was uncomfortable, where I was bullied in a sense, and I just did not open my mouth. It has affected me in a way that it's just affected me in a very negative way. Now I'm starting to get over that. I'm starting to understand that I have the power to say no. I have the power to not do something if I don't want to do it. I have the power to not go somewhere if I don't want to go. I have the power to I hold the power of what I choose to participate in. And a couple years ago, I would have I didn't have that. I didn't have the knowledge and the self-awareness to even think that, or even the strength to think that I can do that with people, especially people that are close to me. You know what I mean? So I think that's all I'm gonna say for this video. I hope this video helps someone. This is just a little bit of my story. I know everyone has a story. But if you can relate to this, just leave me a comment and say, hey Zaria, I can relate to you 100%. Hope that God blesses you. And I hope that God is working in your life to help heal you, because it's a beautiful thing to go through healing, and to go through realization, and just understand, why you do certain things that you do. Again, my name is Zaria, and thank you so much for watching this video. Bye, y'all. And God bless y'all. Peace.